You gotta come try this. Hello and welcome back to the VegInspired Kitchen. I'm Kathy, a plant-based lifestyle and mindset coach and a 3-time cookbook author, and I'm here to help you with this easy, fun, tasty, sweet recipe, maybe for Valentine's Day, maybe just for a fun weekend, or maybe for those desserts that you're always looking for. Now this is really easy, it comes together really easily. We're gonna start with some pitted dates. Now I get pitted, but you can get unpitted and just pit them yourself. You just wanna kind of open them up a little bit. I like to lay them on the parchment lined baking sheet because I'm gonna put the finished product in the freezer or refrigerator to set. So the pitted ones are easy because they're already cut. Like I said, I'm just double checking them, getting them open so that when I have my filling ready, I can easily fill them. This recipe works best with fresh dates, so if your dates are a little old, you may want to buy a new pack. That just means that they are softer, they haven't hardened up. Sometimes if you had them for a while, they'll get hard in the refrigerator. You can soften your dates in the microwave or in some warm water. That's more for a recipe if you're using them to sweeten a recipe and blending them. In this case, since you're going to be stuffing them and opening them up and then eating them just stuffed, you may want a softer date just because they're easier to eat. So I'm gonna start with 9 dates. And then we're gonna stuff these with a peanut butter filling. Now I'm gonna use some PB powder and applesauce to make that filling. We're gonna use about a half of a cup of PB powder. Now, the only PB powder I could find is PB powder that has a little bit of sugar and salt in it. If you can find an unsweetened one, that's ideal for whole food plant-based. But this seems great and it works. So this is a half a cup of PB powder, and we're gonna add 1/4 of a cup or 4 tablespoons of unsweetened applesauce. Then we're just gonna mix it up. It's like a nice creamy peanut butter. And then we're gonna take our peanut butter mixture and we're just going to stuff it right inside our dates. It's about a teaspoon per date. You can do a little bit more. I'm using medjool dates. So they're a little bit bigger. If you have a smaller date, you might use a little less. So you could stop here. You could just have peanut butter stuffed dates. I personally like to dip them in melted chocolate. So let's get our chocolate melted and then we'll be back to finish this recipe. For this, I used 1 9-ounce bag of the Enjoy Life rice milk chocolate chips, and I put them over a double boiler. So the pan on the bottom was brought to a boil, and then I set my metal pan on top. As you can see, it's a little shaky, so you had to really be careful while stirring. I do stir almost the entire time, really frequently, making sure that my chips don't burn or get, lopsidedly melted. You'll see they start to break down and start to melt. And then they start to melt even more. And then we start to get to this final creaminess and we're ready to dip our dates. With this nice creamy, dreamy chocolate. Then we'll just drop our dates in. Give them a little coating. Then set them back on the parchment paper. Now I'm gonna put these in the freezer to set before I eat one because I like them better when the chocolate's set and the peanut butter fillings kind of set a little bit. recipe that you can do that's very similar. It's something more like a Mounds bar or an Almond Joy. So we're gonna take about 1/4 of a cup of shredded coconut. And this time we're gonna use a little less applesauce. So we're just gonna do maybe 2 little teaspoons just to get the shredded coconut to stick together. So this one's a little drier, so it's gonna be a little different. We're gonna do the same technique. We're gonna just split our pitted date. I'm gonna take a scoop of the coconut mixture and kind of mold it in. This is, again, this is a little different because you want your coconut to be a little bit drier. So it looks like that. Now the fourth of a cup of coconut probably makes about, I don't know, maybe it's too much. Maybe 6 of these stuffed dates. So if you wanted more, you could do more. I only want about 6. Now, if you were feeling fancy, you could shove a piece of an almond in here to make it more of an Almond Joy style, but you don't have to. And then we'll coat these, a little bit of chocolate. Before I went whole food plant-based, I used to make these with powdered sugar and lots of high fat ingredients, the peanut butter, full fat peanut butter. But since I'm more whole food plant-based with a real conscious effort to eat lower fat whole food plant-based, I'm looking for alternatives. Now granted, I know coconut is a high fat food. Again, why I'm only using just a little bit and making just a few of those stuffed dates just for a little Valentine Day treat. Again, these are not something that I make every week. So these will go into the freezer. Ideally, you'd leave them in there for at least 3 to 4 hours just to kind of set the chocolate. 30 minutes and you could probably taste them overnight and they'd be great. So they're really good, and I'll be back in a little bit to give it a taste. All right, we are back. Let's get them out of the freezer and give them a taste. So you can see that the chocolate has hardened on these. These 6 on the left are our coconut ones, and the ones on the right are the peanut butter. Let me just get, look, it's so hardened, it's even has a cute little swirl. So if you are making these to display them, you may want to make them a little neater. I'm making them for you and for me and for John. So let's see. Wow. It never ceases to amaze me how much this reminds me of like an Almond Joy or a Mounds bar, because it has that coconutty flavor and the sweetness from the date, but there's no other refined sugar. There might be a little bit of sugar in the chocolate chips that we used, but you could get a sugar-free or a date sweetened chocolate chip, whatever you prefer to use. But the flavor is just so spot on. They're so good. See, the chocolate does melt a little bit. So now let's try a peanut butter one for you. They kind of remind me of Cadbury eggs. We used to make these a lot around Easter. So even if you didn't want to make them for Valentine's Day, you've got a new recipe for Easter. You guys, it's like a Reese's. I mean, these are so good. They're so sweet. They're so flavorful. The peanut butter powder, you wouldn't even know that there was applesauce in it. So you have the fiber from the dates, the fiber from the applesauce, the low-fat version of that PB powder. Yes, again, you do have the cocoa on the chocolate on the outside, but you could do less of a, you don't have to dunk it. You could do less, more like a drizzle. You could put a couple mini chocolate chips or chocolate chips right in it. But this is like a Reese. Look, it even popped open. They're so good. Well, these won't last long around here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like this video. If you decide to make these stuffed dates with either the coconut or the PB powder with the applesauce, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, eat more plants, live veg inspired, and have a great day. Bye.